Welcome to the Uncle Hack Podcast, where dudes pretty much just talk dude shit.
Welcome to the shittiest podcast of 2022. Thank you. Button mashing all motherfuckers. All right. Just fresh off a date in Grande Prairie, bud. Fuck. Anyways, tour upcoming December 11th, Edmonton. If you're around the city, please come on by, swing through, have a good time with me and the fellas. December 11th at the comic strip. Then we're off December 17th to Cranbrook, BC. Ooh. December 31st, Banff for a New Year's Eve extravaganza. January 1st, we ring in the new year like we always do with the Danger Room. January 13th, just added this week, Peace River, Alberta. Brand new date for you. January 20th, Roast Battles returns to Calgary at Yuck Yucks. January 21st, Rocky Mountain House. January 28th, Camrose, Alberta. February 2nd, Kindersley, Saskatchewan. And February 3rd, Provost, Alberta. Button mashing on these motherfuckers. Hell yeah, Grande Prairie. What a time that was. I got a few keynotes that we need to discuss about the lovely time that I had in Grande Prairie. End of the show. First off, Brett Forte goes up, kills. Okay, I don't say this too often. I don't like saying it. I don't like to inflate this man's ego as much as I don't want to do. I have to. Okay, because he gets up and he kills, murders. Okay, murders. And if you've been to one of our shows, you know that we don't tread lightly. We aren't CBC. We aren't CTV Comedy. We're not the Halifax Comedy Festival. We're not the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. We're not fucking Just for Laughs. We're none of those things, okay? We go for it. We cross the line. We don't even have a line. There is no line. The only line I knew of was in a handicap stall. Those were the lines I knew of. And still, hey, maybe I fall off the wagon one of these days. Go back to the old me. Cocaine cowboy, saddled up, ready to ride, desperado. A couple grams in my fucking nasal cavity. And then we'll see what really fucking happens. You know? Like I said, we don't cross. There is no lines to cross because there is no lines. The only, like I said, now the only lines that are being fucking crossed at our shows happen in the bathroom, right? Simple. We went over it earlier. Now, if you've attended any one of our shows, we don't hold back. Sam, myself, and Brett don't hold back on the content that we talk about. And we're talking last joke of the show. Last joke of the show. Hits home with some lady. And she feels, and you know what? The funny thing about our audience is half the time you guys are so fucking blackout, you don't even remember whose jokes was who. And then you argue with us about, no, you said that. No, that's your joke. I'm pretty sure I know my set, right? I go over this shit every week to make sure that my jokes are as tight as possible. And then they have the audacity to like argue, hammered out of their mind. Oh, no, that was your joke. You fucking said, you did dilly-dally. You know, the dilly-dally one. I'm just making shit up here because I'm not going to blow any of the fellas' materials. But you know the fucking dilly-dally fucking joke that you wasn't me. I was in the back. That was Brett. No, that was you. No, pretty sure. 100%. I was sitting in the back because I was watching it just like you were. And they want to argue with you. It's so fucking... Hey, and I'm not shitting on it. I want you guys to come out and have a great fucking time. That's what I want. I want everybody to... Whatever a good time to you is, I want you to do that. You know? Our audience is one of the hardest to please. I'll tell you that for free. Every now and then, know what it's like? It's like doing fucking Hell Week with the Navy SEALs when you go on the road. That's what it is. It's doing Hell Week. And then you come back and then you get the opportunity to do a set in the comedy club. And you're like, no one's going to call me a faggot? No one's going to tell me to go kill myself? What the hell is going on here? I don't like this. This is too weird. And then I go too hard in those rooms, and then those people don't like. It's a never-ending circle. And then if I don't go too hard enough on the road, it's a constant room reading, fucking psychic bullshit that's going on, and I like it. Okay, it fucks with me. It's almost like it's an abusive relationship with yourself, right? Like having a father that when you come, you don't know if he's drunk or not. If he's hammered, we're in for a long night. I got 12 rounds with the heavyweight champ. But if he's sober, I maybe got like just a tongue lashing. A few mean words, ooh, bee boo, But, yeah, so this lady, boom, right up to me at the end of the show. Starts crying. Don't worry, we'll put out the video. Don't worry, the video will be out. I got to slap together a little vlog of Grande Prairie. We're trying to get a little better at that, filming all the behind the scenes shit. I had a good time when I did that, when we went on the little BC run there. So we're going to continue that. And thankfully, the guy that was like standing beside me just shooting the shit for a second had his phone out and started recording, and we caught a little piece of that. A little hard for me to sneak record in a situation. I got ambushed. Charlie had me pinned in the ravine, and I'm getting my ass chewed for a Brett Forte joke, which sucks because the weasel gets away again. That's what happened there. The weasel gets away again. And I'm getting my fucking ass torn apart by some mom that's 2 bottles of wine deep, upset that she had a handicapped kid. There's a Special Olympics joke set on stage, and she took it as like that was an attack on handicapped children. Comedy's just like one of those professions. Nobody fucking walks up to any musician, right, and tells them how to play the guitar. I don't know what it is about comedy and people thinking that what they find funny needs to be what you find funny. I know, I get it. It's all subjective, but the amount of people that are, they hand you a street joke that they heard in fucking the work truck, and they're like, yeah, you can put that in your skit. Well, it's not a skit, it's a set. A skit's totally different. Put that in your skit. Put that in your skit. Everybody has their own little, oh yeah, no, I got a joke for you. And the punchline's just a hard R. And this lady fucking, you don't know what it's like having a handicapped kid. I was like, yeah, I know, because I had a boredom. Huh? Oh, I would get rid of this thing, Why would you? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? I'm fucking around. I didn't go that hard on her. And finally I still have that I try to suppress this as much as I can, but and you're just like, you get annoyed to the point. And that's what I miss about the old way of life in the blue collar world, right? Sometimes you just take shit, and then there's a boiling point. And I still have that. That's good to know that I still have the boiling point. I haven't gotten too soft in this industry where I just like, whatever. Like, it's good to know that I still have it, but it doesn't get triggered. The fuse is a little longer now, but after like 10, 15 minutes of a drunk one, and drunk women's voices, right? And tears are flowing, and you just had a good show, and like, you're sitting here and you're like, I wish I cared, I wish that I could care about, but I don't. I wish I had that in me. And I sound like an asshole right now, but I'm being just completely honest, You don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to ever have a kid. I'm never having one of those fucking things. It looks like they annoy the hell out of everyone. Have you seen the look in a parent's eyes for raising a kid for 4 years? Looks like hell. looks way. I'll take my 10, 15 minutes of hearing about how hard your life is because you got bad genes. But I did, like I said, I did have a little bit of a breaking point. This sounds awful. And this is going to be fun, the backlash that I receive. Because now I don't have anybody in the room that I got to like account for their emotion. And like females are, like, let's be honest, drunk females are the most unreasonable people on the planet to talk to. Finally, I was just like, look, lady, I'm not a fucking therapist. I'm a comedian. You want to pay me to like tell me your feelings? You bought the ticket. I gave you a show. If you don't like the show, then you guess you should have known what you were walking into. It's not like we were sitting there being like, hey, welcome to the cute, fuzzy, bubbly, fucking LGBTQIA. Everybody's inclusive, not going to joke about anything but fucking toasters. We're not going to make any fucking jokes outside of the box. We're just going to talk about how bread turns into toast for an hour and a half, every comic. That's it. But bread has gluten and not everybody. Okay, we aren't going to talk about bread anymore. You know what we're going to talk about? Grass. We're going to talk about grass and how it grows and how it feels. Well, not everybody can get out of a wheelchair or has feelings in there. Okay, you know what we're going to do? Not talk about grass. You know, that's not one of those shows. We go hard in the paint. I know. I kind of bitched out a little bit in it because I was just like fucking flabbergasted. I was like, yeah. Like I said, like, it's tough to like sit back and just be like, fucking Christ. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Where's your husband? Tell him. No, this is like the chain of events, right? This is how this is supposed to go. You're supposed to bitch out your husband for bringing you there, right? You went right to the source. You skipped the whole process. It's supposed to go, you're supposed to be mad at your husband for putting you through that shit, and then your husband just comes up and be like, fuck, the old lady's mad. And he's excited because you piss him off a lot by having chores and all these activities that he doesn't want to do. This was his payback to you. You're supposed to take that emotion to him. And then he's supposed to pretend care. Then he comes up to me and he goes, fuck, you pissed off the old lady. Thank God. Right? That's the chain. You broke the whole chain of command. That's how that's supposed to go. Dudes bring their wives to our shows to make sure, like, yeah, this is your punishment for putting me. Oh, yeah, as soon as you kicked your feet up, you know, clicked on the hockey game. Maybe you're catching the newest episode of Deadliest Catch. I don't fucking know. Whatever you're into. You just turned on your Xbox, want to log in an hour and a half in the new Call of Duty. Right? And all of a sudden, hi, hey, babe. You get that, right? Hey, honey. Honey. That voice. 18 men just drove into a power pole listening to this podcast right now. After hearing, honey, they're like, oh, fuck, PTSD, it's even at work, you know? And you just turned on Call of Duty. You're about to log in just a few games. You're going to escape for an hour. You didn't take out the garbage. Right? You bring your old lady to our show because that's payment. That's punishment. Now you have to hear you have to listen to three assholes hop on stage, degrade women, borderline racist material, misogynistic. Did I say misogynistic? Probably. What else is on the list? Every istinic, right? Everything that these females pretend to care about, we just fucking go at. So once they leave, then they're like, oh, I can't believe you. And you get the satisfaction of knowing that you did nothing wrong but take her to a show that you could possibly enjoy. The humor that you miss, right? Back when men would say faggot freely. Now it's oh. And you get that satisfaction. She totally broke the chain of command. That's what chaps my ass about that whole scenario. It was like the broken chain of command with that. Couldn't believe it. afterwards, then the one guy that was right behind, he goes, you got fucking, then he fucked with Brett. I wish I was filming with that and be like, you fucking asshole. I can't believe that. And he just pretended that it was his wife. Shout out to that guy. That guy was fucking funny. Shit. I wish I was thinking on my feet right then. I was just flabbergasted. That's the first time. That's the first time somebody's approached me after the show and was just like giving me the sucky lip. I can't. I'm like, oh, for fuck me. I look like I hope you got that. I haven't. I've listened to a little bit of the video, but yeah, there was I was like, I'm not a fucking therapist. What do you want me to do? 120 an hour. I'll listen to everything that you have to say to me right now. If that ain't the case, I got to go the fuck over there. You know, sound like an egotistic maniac right now, but yeah, let's fucking. Well, the comedian said some bad things that I don't like. That's what it is. I got that live. I got Twittered in real life. In positive news, though, let's get into this. Let's get into some fun stuff. Afterwards, we headed to the strip club, right? And there was a Hutterite that left the colony inside there. Young man, I think he just turned 19 years old that day. Never been to a titty bar in his life. Living his best life. Gambling, drinking, smoking, tits, ass, lap dances. How it should be. It's like, you know, I imagine it that this is the same feeling that when the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses are always not pounding on your door trying to convert you to their religion. That's how I felt in that moment. It's like, what? We got one back. You know, how many people have just like, went super religious after, a good run. And we got one back. We got a young one back, who's going to carry the torch, live the life that he was meant to live, left the colony. Now look at him. It was great. That guy fucking loving the lap dances. As he should. You know what? As he should. You've been deprived of it. Imagine being out there. See, most of us have seen more hole get blown out by the age of 16 these days than those guys even know it exists. Right? They don't even know what's out there, what's happening. They're just like completely oblivious. Here, on our side of the tracks, we're watching your next door neighbor get her asshole blown out by a tentacled dildo. To them, that's like, what the fuck is what is happening out there? Christ, we can't even get missionary before we're married. And this girl's going to suck me dry? For a shiny hundo? Wow. What a world. But it's good. It's good to see like somebody's horizons be broadened by entering into just one simple little establishment. Something like, I wish titty bars would come back in the force that they need to come back in. Right? The internet is just, it's not this fucking... It's not the same. And I'm tired of hearing about the fucking, well, why would you want to go get horny with your friends? Because it's fucking fun. It's live. It's in the flesh. What are you going to do? Lay around and just punch your clown all night? No, you could be getting drunk, watching a nice show. This guy soaked it in. He didn't rely on his phone like an asshole. He's not trying to live in this futuristic world with VR headsets pretending to blow out a back. Meanwhile, you're just air humping in your basement like a fucking Fruit Loop. Could you imagine that? Imagine catching one of your friends with a VR headset pretending to fuck something. How embarrassing. That's way worse than getting caught jerking off. That is 3,000% worse than getting caught just like cranking your shaft. God, that would suck. And then to turn around and have the audacity to be like, I can't believe you'd go to a strip club with your friends. I can't believe you don't. This young guy has been deprived from this all of his life. Probably hasn't even, you imagine how hard it is? Okay, fucking millennials that grew up like way before the internet took over, right? Gen Xers. Do you remember what it took to convince a lady to show her tits? Now put yourself in the most conservative fucking world possible, like a Hutterite colony. Imagine trying to convince one of them to show their old sacred bombs to you. Do you know how fucking hard that's got to be? You wait every day of your life that your elder, do they call them elders out there, takes you to the mechanic shop. And then you can slide in. But back in the day, maybe. Nowadays, I don't know, like, do you still locally owned ones? Of course, you got some titties and shit in the shitter. How it's supposed to be, but then you fucking had to hire a secretary. Oh, well, I can't believe. See, small town ladies, you don't get enough credit. You don't get enough credit. These fucking feminists. You know, small town lady just say, hey, I got a job as a receptionist down at the tire shop. You think she goes in the shitter and then bitches about the porn that's in there? Guys sitting there fucking just taking a look at the wall. They staple their best photo to it. Do you think that No, they don't. They never should have an opinion what goes on in the back of that goddamn shop. But now we're like, rah, 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 rah. We take that too seriously. Right? Now, again, back to the young man that has to wait for that day to go to the tire shop. He wants to just go in what's going on in here? You know? It's a magical fantasy land. The tire shop. The bathroom at the tire shop. You'd fake 4 pisses before those tires are even changed. Right? Living the fucking dream. Now, this guy left the colony and he's living it in real life. Good for him. We got one back, gentlemen. We got one back. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful fucking thing. Don't worry. Later in the episode, we're going to be touching on Big Trudy expressing themselves in China. Oh, boy. It's a fun little topic that we're going to get into. But this right here deserves the attention. Is like knowing that there's a young man out there that finally is experiencing what we should as dudes. You know, it's sad. You know, these things, the excitement of going to the strip club when I was younger. I just remember being that a young 18-year-old and experiencing it for the very first time was just like fabulous. This world where, you know, oh, you'd pay $35 to get a lap dance. Yes. Because you know what? There's guys out there that are paying for titty pics and answering DMs that aren't even from that fucking lady. So who's doing it worse? You know? There's literally fucking teams of people that run OnlyFans pages of these hot women that sit there and answer your texts, and it's not even them. Not even them. You think in your head you're texting them, so what's the difference of paying $35 to sit there in a song and get rubbed up on? What? Why? Why not? That's what I say. Have a good time. You know? It's like fucking these ladies getting mad at boyfriends over going to a titty bar. That's another thing I've never understood. Ladies that are getting like, that are insecure about you think, first off, not very often guys are closing at the strip club, especially guys that are getting taken for dances. You think the guy that's getting rinsed, lap dance after lap dance, you know, as long as he's having a good time, if he's getting shook, you know, if this is like, oh yeah, I'm having a fucking phenomenal time, then whatever, let him be, you know, let him enjoy himself. What's wrong with that? Relax. Christ, you want us to be accepting of like, here's the thing. Fellas, our bargaining chips are a little off right now. You know? Men got to do this. Men got to do that. Women got to do this. But then, like, we can't go to the strip club. You can't do this. There's all this respect and back and forth. Don't embarrass me. Don't do this. Don't do that, right? List of things. We've lost the bargaining, you know? The negotiations of like gender roles right now are completely off. Like fucking what? Are you kidding me? You're taking all the fun away from being a guy, like the experiences of being a guy, right? We've covered stags, how great they are. Off nights out with the fellas, Maybe you go to a hockey game, like here in Edmonton. You go to a hockey game, you and the fellas. You decide you want to go out. All of you've been married 5+ years, right? You've been married for 5+ years. And one guy puts up the suggestion, why don't we go to the titty bar? Do you ever hear anybody in that group go, no, we shouldn't? No, everybody will play the fucking gamble, play the odds. Where are you? I'm at the strip club, babe. Right? You'll play the gamble when you're hammered. We gotta start playing the gamble when we're a little bit more sober. Get some more bargaining chips. See? The liquor then removes every rational thought of dealing with what is it? Hold on. The liquor removes any sort of sight into the future of like an argument that'll take place at home, which is beautiful because in that moment you can be yourself. I'm getting very I don't know what the fucking word is. I'm not sitting here trying to be a goddamn therapist. I'm not trying to be a psychologist or a motivational speaker. I'm just trying to speak from the heart here, gentlemen. I'm just trying to lay it on the line for you. I'm just trying to be the best dude I can and lead by example for the small portion of my life where I've granted the opportunity to say these things to an audience, you know what I mean? But in that moment in time, once you've had a few too many drinks in you and you can't see into the future, you don't know the problems that are going to exist. You just hear the words good time, right? You hear strip club, that associates to what? Good time. Okay, the math adds up. That seems like we're going to continue the fun from the hockey game, right? So what do? You follow the good time. It's like the apple pie scent in the cartoon, you know, when that scent hits and they're like, oh, good time. I smell a good time. You follow that and you lead or you follow that scent right to a better time. And when that time's done, and you're like, oh, fuck, we lost the scent trail of a good time. And then usually one of your friends is like, oh, I got a flat of beer in the garage at home. And what do? You head on over, you throw on some of the hair metal's greatest hits, you know, a fucking track list of Poison, Motley Crue. What else we got? Rat. The list goes on. And you continue that good time until you pass out somewhere. And then you wake up and that scent is all gone. The good time scent is all gone. And all of a sudden, the bad time scent starts settling in. And what is that? It's like stale liquor. That like cat shit feeling in your mouth from being too dry, right? That takes over. Time for a little ad read. If you head to dangercatshop.com, you can get tickets to all the upcoming dates that we listed before the show today. Wow, isn't that fun? You want to see myself, Brett Forte, and Sam Walker live in the flesh? Well, guess what? Head to dangercatshop.com and you can get your tickets today. New dates being added every week, it seems like. So pay attention there. We're hitting the road hard. We're coming at them. Spite Tour is real now. It is slowly progressing across the country, so we're hoping to touch the East Coast in the near future, and we'll see about visas, about heading down to America. So if you're an American listener, be sure to comment below if you're watching on YouTube where you're at. Patreon.com/DangerCat69. All of our roast battles are on there now. Volume 1 through 7, I believe. Volume 1 through 7, you can watch on there, plus extra episodes of the Uncle Hack podcast. Even the old library of all of our shit is on there. So if you want to become a nice supporter of this show and you want to be ever so kind to support this show, the best way to do it, patreon.com/DangerCat69. You get extra episodes and you will feel very good about that purchase, okay? It's the best thing you can do. Why donate to the Ukraine when you can donate to my ever battling addictions? Me battling who cares? Just you want to feel better? Don't give money to the Ukraine. Give it to unclehack. And then you look at your phone. Oh, it's dead. Shit. Better plug that in. And then you know it's alive because it's plugged in on the counter. You're sitting on the couch. You're talking with one of your buddies like, holy fuck, we got after it. Jesus Christ. Are all the guys here? Like, oh, yeah, they're all here. Jesus. Wait, what do you guys say? We get a little breakfast? And then that's right when the phone kicks in. That noise, because no sane man, you know what? No, it's an old guy thing is leaving like your notifications on and then like having the ringer go. That's an old man thing. That's an old dog thing. Anybody under the age of 40, if you have a fucking ringer, I'd say even 45. If your ringer goes off, right, your text ringer, something's fucking wrong with you. You're twisted. You're sick in the head. But you know, as a dude, I'm talking dudes my age, right? You start hearing that. Now they're showing up delivered on her end. Before they weren't showing up delivered. Now they showed up delivered. Oh, you got him. That means his phone's on. Because you know that fucking wingnut's checking every. Where is he? Where? Oh, they delivered. Better call. Right now it's. Where the fuck? And then it starts. Then now the good time scent is all gone. It's all downhill, and it was all worth it. Every sniff of good time that you got was well worth it. That's why you always take advantage of it. Just like that young man that crossed over into the real world, into the fun, that Hutter left. Hutter right, never heard of it. Hutter left, daddy. He's back. Not even back. He's now in it. He's now in the Matrix. He knows what, he's got to experience all this now for the first time. As when some of us were 14 years old surfing the net watching a fucking gangbang happen. He doesn't even know about that yet. He knows that you can go down to this strip club, Diamond's Gentlemen's Club in Grande Prairie, and look at a pussy for $35, and he goes, that happens. So good for him. Welcome to the dark side, Daddy. We're happy to have you. Number 1 draft pick. I'll take him. I'll take him in the draft, in the DGen draft. Let's get into beer. This is great. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Big Trudy's making comments about China. Oh yeah. Our first and only article of the day. Canada stands with people expressing themselves amid China COVID-19 protests, Trudeau. By our favorite blogger, Rachel Gilmore. Here we fucking go. 1 second. Let's get some audio on this. Here we are, Big Trudy, ladies and gentlemen.
Canadians are watching very closely. Obviously, everyone in China should be allowed to express themselves, should be allowed to share their perspectives and indeed protest. We're going to continue to ensure that China knows we'll stand up for human rights, we'll stand with people who are expressing themselves. We also need to make sure that China and places around the world are respecting journalists and their ability to do their job. We'll continue to make that very clear.
Oh boy, there's a lot to unpack in this little video, okay? In this little video with our big dog, Big Trudy, the man, the myth, the legend. He loves to put on a show, right? And in this video, he looks terrified to answer this question because we all seen his interaction with old Gigi, right? He looked like he shit his fucking pants walking away from that, the big flex on him, you know? See, this is where, let's go back. We're going to go through this.
Canadians are watching very closely.
You're damn right we are. And you want to know why? Because the Emergency Act inquiry just took place here in Canada where expressing yourself ended with the same thing that's happening over there on a slightly less scale. Keep in mind, we don't have the population that China has, right? So these people were expressing themselves in a different way than the Chinese people. In a slightly different way. See, the trucker convoy just showed up, made a lot of fucking noise, had a chili cook-off, few hot dog parties, and then brought in a bouncy castle. And this is dangerous. This is dangerous to democracy. But hey, thank God they're not dealing with democracy over there, and it's fucking communism.
Obviously, everyone in China should be allowed to express themselves, should be allowed to...
Oh, in China, they're allowed to express themselves. See, this is where it starts to get interesting. In just a 29-second clip, there's a lot that he says that we can unpack here. There's a lot that he expresses, right? Like you can express yourself, but as long as it's only the right way. See, expressing yourself in China is throwing steel beams at their police. Now the military's coming in. That's just expressing. We don't want to call that a riot, right? We wouldn't want to call that a riot because then things would get a little confusing. Things would get a little confusing because they're standing up for their rights over there when we stand up for human rights. It's exactly like I'm going full right-wing podcaster right now in the eyes of Twitter, I guess, or Reddit, sorry. This would be more of like I'm more of a Reddit right-winger, but I just hate when politicians come out and they say bullshit like this. You know, I think that our leaders should be held accountable, and I don't give a fuck if I don't give a fuck about what Pierre's up to right now. I don't give a shit what he has to say or what he thinks is fucking, well, what about all the hotel rooms, Trudeau? Who cares, okay? Who cares? Guy's not in power. Guy is not in power. The guy can't convince the NDP to work with him, so we don't have to worry about which way the vote or which way the votes go when it comes to this. Is the guy. He's our prime minister. He's in power. He's the one leading the country. He's going out taking the G7 meetings. He is basically the face of this country right now. So he should be held accountable for what he's saying. When Pierre takes office, you don't think I'm not going to do the same thing to that jerk off? He's a nerd. He's a nerd. Nothing like, would you want a nerd leading the football team? Would you want a nerd, the captain of the fucking Navy SEALs? Would you want, I don't know the terminology when it comes to military ranks. So, but would you want that guy leading the end of war, Pierre? Would you want him leading the end of war? Would you want him like a strong leader? You don't look at any of them like they're strong. They're all scumbags. Especially this one right now.
To share their perspectives.
Sharing their perspectives. Okay, so where we were heading was probably the same path, that something similar to what China had in place, but we don't see it like that, right? We don't see it like that. Where we were heading, right, politically, we still are heading in that direction with bills like Bill C-11 that's going to monitor the internet on you. There's still so much gray area on it, but hey, you're allowed to express your perspective for now. See, what you're telling me is if the trucker convoy was throwing the gates and shit at the police and served a little bit more resistance against them, right? Instead of just allowing tramplings to happen and the RCMP to just boot fuck people. If they would have fought back, that would just be expressing yourself in Canada. You know, if you would have socked a cop in the face, then this ass clown right here, oh, they're just expressing themselves down there. That's where you went wrong. That's where you went wrong for those that were down there, right? Instead, you were having EDM parties, listening to Twisted Sisters, fucking, we're not gonna take it, helping the homeless, shoveling the sidewalks, trying to be like good Samaritans. Instead, you should have been smashing out windows, beating up police officers, and just striking anybody who opposes your viewpoints. Then that would just be expressing yourself. That would just be expressing yourself. See, holy shit, you missed the mark. See, I'm a fan of the trucker convoy, and looking back, I'm kind of a fan of anybody who causes a little disruption, causes conversation, has us talking a little bit more. Prior, this is going to rub a lot of people wrong, but hear me out, okay? If I'm going to sit here and I have to change my perspective entirely on how I view things, especially when it comes to like serving the people, okay? I know there's a lot of people that I disagree with politically, disagree with socially, disagree with economically, but they shouldn't be trampled on. They shouldn't be boot-fucked by cops. They shouldn't, be spilling blood in the streets, damaging property. I agree with that, right? And that's opened my eyes up a little bit here with what's happened in these past couple of years and like how us as citizens, civilians of the country are treated opposed to those who are in a wealthy position or a position of power where decision makings fall on their shoulders and they're convinced or persuaded in voting a certain way or making bills pass that benefit them, right? We're not in that class. In fact, we get the fun game of going down to a voting booth that doesn't mean jack shit. It's just like a fun little, it's like feeling good. It's like getting a lollipop after the dentist just fucked your shit up, right? It's like when the doctor, when you break your arm and the doctor just puts it back in place and you get a lollipop. That'll make you feel better about all the pain that you just went through, right? And you get the lollipop, and the lollipop is the voting booth. The broken arm and all that bullshit, that's just like, that's democracy. That's all that is. That's democracy. It's mass. It's like, fuck, this is just going to fix itself, right? A little cast is going to help my arm grow back, and it'll be even stronger. And the lollipop is me making the decision that, this will soothe the wound. We all get to feel better about ourselves about going down there and making the big vote. It's all happy horse shit. And what I mean by when I was starting on that is it's even like the railroad blockades, It's like, get out there and fucking work. A lot of us were like that. I was one of those ones like, fuck, what's going on here? But allowing them to do what they do, right? Allowing them I got to also allow people that have the same opinion as me be given the same right to protest as those other people, whether I agree with it or not. I have to maybe that's maturing. I don't know what that is. We'll figure it out one day. But viewing that as a whole is like standing up and like corporate interests, back in there. See that this is where things get bumpy on like how I explain myself. It's like corporate interests of those companies that fuck us daily. How many of you are out there working and some big company comes in, buys a little company. You were working for the guy in town. He's been a phenomenal guy for a number of years. And then some big corporate giant comes in, buys that company. And now everything's changed. Everything, safety rules have changed. They got an HR department and all this shit just changes within a week. And it got worse. And you had a wicked job prior to that. It's not like these corporations are any better than these politicians that make the rules for you. Even big oil, it's not like their moral compass points straight fucking north, It's not that, and like this is where it gets bumpy because a lot of listeners to this show, you're blue collar guys. You put your best foot forward and you work your asses off, and I appreciate the fuck out of that. But it's not like that big company that put a number on your name. Here's your little paycheck numbers, 012389996, Why don't you come to the company Christmas party? We'll pump you full of liquor. But don't make a mistake. It's horse shit. It's all horse shit. It's all horse shit to make you feel happy. Come on down. We'll give you a $500 bonus. Back in the day, you worked for that local company before the big corporation came in, bought it out, and guess what? Homeboy appreciated your work. Now it's like, well, how come that time? It's like having that naggy wife. That's like that noise, right? That's what's constantly over your shoulder is like your phone ringing as soon as you plug it in. Message is on delivered, dog. That's why I can't stand these fucks. Anybody who has a fucking suit and tie on. All of them. Full of fucking shit. Can't stand them. They just say anything to try and make you feel good, but they never make you feel good. They make you feel more angry. What a loser.
And indeed protest. We're going to continue to ensure that China knows we'll stand up for human rights. We'll stand.
There you go. Stand up for human rights. There's something. Meanwhile, this ass clown just spent the past year trying to force everybody to take a vaccine, and some people didn't want to take it. And guess what? They had extreme views. They don't want the vaccine. And guess what? I would assume a lot of people over there don't want to fucking follow along on this whole little social currency fucking system that's taking place in China. But guess what? They're extremists. It's actually sickening what's happening to those people in China right now. Like a lot of them, they can't get into their homes. They can't buy food. They can't go anywhere in the city. They're landlocked, for fuck's sakes, inside this grid. They can't go anywhere. Can't even use the transit system because of I don't know entirely how it works, but I know that they get flagged in the system and they're like a code yellow, and they're in the middle of making these camps to it's fucking nuts. If you tried to explain that to somebody, you'd be like, what the fuck? This sounds like something a little similar. You're sending sick people to camps? It's nuts. It's nuts. But yet this asshole, even the expression of his face having to denounce China right now after what took place at that summit. I can't remember what summit, whatever summit it was where Gigi shat down his throat. I wish I had a better memory when it came to the names of things. I'm not that great. I can remember little squabbles that happened between these two idiots, like what took place. I can't believe you went to the press. He just shits down his throat. And now this guy looks terrified. The expression of his face right now tells me that he is terrified that I don't know what was said behind closed doors, but there's a look of fear having to come out and say this right now. I don't think that this guy is suited for the job. There's no spine to him. He's like he is a snake. No fucking spine to him whatsoever.
With people who are expressing themselves. We also need to make sure that China and places around the world are respecting journalists and their ability to do their job. We'll continue to make that very clear.
We want to make sure that the bloggers are doing an okay job out there. We want to make sure that the narrative stays the same. What an asshole. It is crazy that he can sit here and say this shit. Meanwhile, what just took place in Canada, right? Truckers did not want to get the vaccine. They didn't want to get the vaccine. Some did. Some did, some didn't. I believe in the freedom of choice. Now, whether or not you felt coerced to get that jab to keep your job, I don't think that's right either. But there was also a decision. Sometimes the decisions suck. And sometimes dickweeds in power make decisions even more difficult for employers, employees, rules that need to be set in place. And we all say it's all for the greater good. What do we always use? Safety. For the safety of others, right? We're always somehow trying to convince one another that the safety of others needs to be our concern. Kind of like the woman earlier in the show. She's convinced that I'm supposed to care about what's going on inside her household, when meanwhile, this is the first I've ever met her. First time I've ever had an interaction with her, right? First time I've ever crossed paths with this, and I'm supposed to immediately just be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's some female wife. I fucking imagine a guy having to do that to me. Jesus Christ. Couldn't I imagine? But this gentleman right here, Big Trudy, dancing the line. Truckers made him look like a fucking asshole. Now he's got to go out there, denounce China, and Gigi, Gigi's watching him. Oh no, this is not good. This is not good. I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. And guess what time it is? Time for the greatest portion of this show. Honestly, the only portion of this show that we allow you say whatever the fuck you want. Somebody just emailed me 20 minutes before I could make a graphic, and I don't know if it's real or fake. So either or, fuck this guy. Your email's getting, because it's incredibly stupid and it sounds like something that a hater of mine would say. So, but fan mail, hate mail, we got some this week. It's great. You want to send some fucking hate mail to me? You want to say what you really think about me? That's fine. I would love it. Because you can email me at unclehack at dangercats.tv. Use subject line hate mail, please. So that way I can sift through it a little easier. Because we like that type of shit. We like people expressing themselves. Unlike Big Trudy. Or maybe similar to Big Trudy. Anyways. Let's get into our first one. We're just going to read this one. There's nothing really to break down or anything. This one's kind of nice. Dear Uncle Hack, would you buy a fucking label maker already? I look forward to your podcast, but watching you mashing on those sound buttons like Helen Keller playing whack-a-mole every week makes me want to slam my dick head in a door jam. Yours truly, Joe Mama. Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, there are some things I do have them right here, believe it or not. I can write on these and it'll tell me exactly which was which, but I just refuse to do that for some odd reason. I could do that. I could make my life easier, but I refuse to do so. You don't want to know why? Because first off, you should respect the laziness of man, the laziness of a guy. And you're not doing that. I don't like that. I don't like that about you. Next up, we got another one. It's a little bit, I don't know if it's so much hate mail, more of a fan question, but this guy, he's got some shit to get off his chest, and I found this interesting, okay? Starts off like this. This is a 7-inch long or wide or whatever I went by when I called the live show. I got that BJ that time. I recall all this. Time from call AHA from last call. Okay, I see what he said. And not sure you remember Patrice. Either way, I'll make this quick. I've lost my mojo. I've tried everything, but I can't seem to find a good woman, or a good women, or even some tail from Tinder or Bumble. Any hotties I match with are 3 or 4 hours away in Nova Scotia or Prince Edward Island. I miss my old lady I had for many years, but I kept cheating on her. Nice. I was not super popular in high school, and while I grew into my looks and the gift of gab for the most part and just let loose and made up for lost time. I just miss my old life. Mom being really sick at the moment and losing my best friend, an animal. Just these last 2 years, I've watched the good life slip away. My ex became a EMT while we parted the last year or so and gives 0 fucks for me now, even after she was legit crazy and would not let me leave or go. I had a few girls I was thinking about maybe there was a future, and she found out and was like, no, not happening, even though I was single, still seeing her too. I know I'm a scumbag, but I've changed. Not like I did anything no other guy would have done. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. Just trying to justify it. I did some soul searching, but it seems all the good changes I made, nose county out of my life, just focusing on work and getting that money, I just can't seem to get my mojo back. Maybe find some happiness again. I don't know. My old life is long gone, and much as I wish my ex would come back, All that time invested, I'm 34 and not getting any younger. And she's 29. I don't get why she wants to throw away all that. I made the changes and am ready to be that guy for her. But like I said, 0 fucks given. Probably has nothing to do with you fucking around on her. I would say 0 to do with that. Maybe you have some insight and I'll hear you answer this question for me. Maybe give me a different view or something. During this time, Patrice O'Neill and his show, he had Black Phillip, kept me afloat and made me see things different. But in this woke world we live in and how Canada has changed, I figured I'd ask the closest person to Patrice. Well, thank you for thinking that I'm even remotely close to him, but I might have to disagree with that. One of the good old boys himself, Uncle Hack. God bless. Thanks again for all the laughs. DCMA 247. Okay. First off, either way, I'll make this quick. I've lost my mojo. I've tried everything, but I can't seem to find a good woman or even some tail from Tinder and Bumble. Well, see, there's your first problem, is you're resorting to the bottom of the barrel. You're trying to pull something out of the bottom of the barrel. You think any fucking normal person these days is just floating around waiting for Prince Charming to pull them out of the fucking wishing well on Tinder and Bumble? No, my brother. No, you gotta get your ass up. Go out, meet people, hang out, go do something. I understand that maybe nose candy and all that shit is out of your life, but there's happy hours that take place where you're at. I don't know where you're living. I don't know the size of your community, but maybe one of those drives with 3 or 4 hours away in Nova Scotia or Prince Edward Islands. Okay, so you're on the East Coast. We know that. I'm not sure where. I'm assuming maybe New Brunswick. I'm assuming there. But my friend, you gotta get your shit together here. See, this is a simple change. In my eyes anyways, is like, instead of like looking for the greatest thing ever to just get on base, go out, flirt a little bit. That's the problem. Everybody's always looking to fucking smash home runs. Get out there, flirt a little bit. It doesn't mean your dick has to get wet every fucking time you go out. No, go out, flirt. Maybe you get a kiss. That's the mojo, baby. That's the mojo. Everybody's always looking for these big, extravagant fucking, oh my God, I met the most wonderful. Who gives a shit? All the time. I'm fucking hearing. It's like, oh, I don't know. I can't find nothing on Tinder. I can't find nothing on Bumble. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why you can't find the love of your life on a fucking dating app. I don't know how to, I'm going to attempt to explain. You don't like, that's what I mean. We all live in this digital world now. We're all encapsulated, or is that the word I'm looking for? It's captured our attention so much that we just forget about the little things around us. We're skirting by all these little moments that take place around us. We're so worried about who's DMing us, who's liking my photo. You know, go out. Go out, and the only thing that you should be using, use your phone for one thing that night. To get you out, like an Uber or a ride out, somebody that can drop you off, call a cab, and same thing to get home. And go out with the intentions to talk with people without getting out your phone, without any of that, and see what happens. You might learn that it's actually, there's a lot of good people out there, but everybody's just so, oh, she looks pretty hot on Bumble. Why don't you go meet her in real fucking life? Why don't you just try and bump into somebody and let fate happen? Everybody's just trying to, design their future. Life ain't perfect. I'm sorry to tell you, and like, I'm sorry you're going through some shit here. It sounds like, you've let life slip away, and that's fine. But now you have to realize, like, the past is the past. You're not getting that back. You fucked it all up, okay? You were a shithead when you were with her, and now she doesn't. You think she wants to go back to that? She's got her shit all figured out, and she doesn't want to go back to this guy that was gacking rails, fucking girls behind her back, and, it didn't work. It didn't work. You're trapped in, like, this. It seems like you're, like, trapped in this thought that the past was perfect. It's not. You have now a clean canvas and you don't know what to do with it. And that's the joy of it. And I'm getting very gay right now. I'm getting very gay, but every now, you know what? Dudes don't talk like this. We don't talk to, it's easy to do it in a closed room, right? With nobody's around me to like judge the words that are coming out of my mouth. But that's the thing, is we're always looking for this, like, we think the past was perfect and all these things that molded who you are today are just gonna, they're gonna come back to you. They're not. Get over it. It's done. It's over. You gotta soul search a little more and just realize like what's good right now. You're trying to get your dick wet and all that and get your mojo back. I get that. Nothing hurts deep in your soul as a dude is like not being able to pull at any moment's time. Like that sucks. It does. When you're on a dry spell, it's not that fun. Right? Because you're just thinking about it. And then you get insecure about little things. Is the way I'm talking, the way, the way that I fucking, if it's just to get your mojo back, buddy, just get a hooker. So you remember what you're chasing. You know what I mean? Remember what you're chasing. That feel, that sensation. Oh, I can't believe you'd pay for sex. Why not? Most of you do anyways. You just don't realize that your payment is different than just currency at times. Sometimes your payment is you acting like a complete fucking pussy in front of this woman, lying. That's a payment. That's a payment on your soul. It's a payment on your soul, lying about who you are as a human just to get this girl in the sack, right? Doing whatever you need to do. We make our payments differently. But in the end, we all pay for pussy. Through currency, through a little bit of your personality, through a little, there's a payment. There's always an exchange somewhere, right? So if the exchange is money for pussy, who cares? That's the joy of capitalism, baby. Take advantage of it. Can't maybe find some happiness again. I don't know. I know my old life is long gone, and as much as I wish my ex would come back, all that time invested, I'm 34, not getting any younger. That's fine. Who cares? Accept the changes, brother. And I'm ready to be that guy for her. Why be that guy for her when you could be that guy for maybe possibly something that's going to enjoy that guy? You've already, you know what? You rip those pages out of the book, man. Remember them when you need to, but she's moved on. And when somebody moves on from you and you're still hung up on them, it does eat you up a bit, but you got to go out and you got to do things differently. As dumb as this sounds, dude, join like a bowling league or, I know that's like low hanging fruit right there, but just do something different that you normally wouldn't do. Save up your money. If money's good now, if you're chasing dough, I'll tell you one thing. I always encourage dudes to go travel. I always encourage dudes to go travel. Like you want a fucking safe haven of getting laid? I'm telling you, go on a backpack trip. They're always online. You can fucking hop on. There's plenty of websites. Just Google backpack trip, Vietnam, Thailand. Go do something like that. If you can't get ass on one of them, then we both know it's you. And you can't get your mojo. Go have fun, Throw a curveball. That's one thing like guys don't do compared to women, Women go through like a breakup and then they're like, I got to go do some soul searching. Our soul searching is like at a dive bar with your buddies. Women will go on these like extravagant backpacking trips, just completely remake their look and shit. And I say we take a little bit of like what they do. Go on a trip, dude. Go on a trip. Even if it's to Vegas by your fucking self, just go and figure it out. That's the joy. Go on an adventure. Challenge yourself in that way. Go out, see the world, meet new people. You realize it's not that fucking, it's not that better anywhere else. But at least you're in a nice warm location, drinking cheap liquor, getting a suntan on your nuts and your feet up at the beach, brother. I'm saying brother a lot right now. But it's what you got to do. You got to get out there. That's the only thing I would say to dudes to steal from women is like, get out and see things, go and experience things. We all trap ourselves in our routine and we don't break it, especially like, I've noticed that with like blue collar dudes. Oh, why the fuck would I ever want to go over there? There's always like the lamest excuses. I'm like, whenever I bring up travel. Oh, I went to Mexico one time to a fucking all-inclusive resort. That's gay. That's gay. You can do that here. You can literally do that here. Go to some fucking all-you-can-eat buffet and drink your face off. Ooh, cool. The only difference is you got a pool to swim in. That's it. Those are dumb. You don't learn anything. All you're doing is bumping into more Canadians in a different place. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's like going to it's like Arizona now. That's where all the Canadians are. At least the West Coast ones. You go down there, you're more than likely just be like, hey there, bud. Hey there, bud. That's all you're going to hear. I'm talking go travel. Go see something, like fucking experience something. Spend a couple nights in some shitholes in Vietnam. Get a sense for the culture. Go backpack up a fucking mountain. Do some dude shit. Get fucked up in the night. Wake up. Climb a mountain in the morning. You know what I mean? Experience some shit. That's what it's about. Terrify yourself by, sitting on a safe resort with your feet up, drinking Mai Tais, Nah. Go terrify yourself. Go hang out in the barrios of fucking, where the language, you don't even know what the language there's, and your anxiety's through the roof. Am I going to get robbed at any moment's time? Am I going to get held the fuck up? Yeah, have your fucking, put you on edge. Earn those beers while you're on vacation. Instead, you're sitting at like some Mexican resort where you're like, oh, hola, senor. Fuck that shit. Go mingle with the locals. Go hit up local bars. Oh, we went to Cabo Wabo. Oh, really? That's so cool. Get out there, do some shit. Change up your scenery. I wish more guys would do that. In your circumstance, I think that's the best thing for you. Something to look forward to. Like that takes your mind off the past. You're dwelling on the future because you got nothing to foresee or you're dwelling on the past because you don't have nothing to focus on in the future. That's the best way to move forward. Put some goals in mind and attack them. Get in shape. You got a trip coming up, Oh, I got to save this much money. I got to save $2,500 to go on this trip. I'm going to work my ass off until I can pay for that trip. I'm going to take the time off and I'm fucking off. I'm doing a backpack trip in Thailand. And I'll tell you what, the people that you bump into over there and the time that you'll have, brother, oh, God. Oh, buddy. So I really wish blue collar dudes would understand that. It's like, that's how fucking fun it is over there. When you're young, you're still young. 34 is young. Go live it up. Quit worrying about this bitch. You're never getting her back. It's done. It's over. Just, hey, right on. You give the old big man upstairs a thumbs up. Hey, thanks for putting a crazy bitch in my life that fucked the ever living shit out of me. I wish her the best. I got shit to accomplish now. Put some goals in mind. Start moving forward. Get your mojo back. You want to get your mojo back? Go out in public. Don't sit there and try and wheel on your couch with your feet up in your comfort. Get out there. You got to have some discomfort. Have some face-to-face interactions. That's how you excel. Not sitting on your fucking phone. Hey, babe, when you going to come over? Trying to fucking wheel on text. No, get them in person. Talk to these people. That's how you excel having game. Not sitting there, and then you're an awkward, you sit there. It's like, how many women probably go through this where some loser sits there, I'm going to blow your back out, talk a big game, and then they meet him in person, and then it goes, hey, how are you? Right? Talking all that shit on text messages, and then they meet up, can't even make eye contact. Get the fuck out of here. Get out there and do that shit in person. Be a somebody. Not a fucking, not some loser on the internet. Fuck Tinder, fuck Bumble. You want to fuck those bitches? Just go out. They're out in the club anyways. Go find them. Make it a hunt. Go on a hunt. You ever hear using Uber Eats, becoming a fat fuck? That's what's happening. That's pissing me off. Lazy ass shit. You know what I mean? You know, even with my job change, right? I gotta fuck with my head every now and then to remind me where I came from. I gotta humble myself. I can't allow comfort, right? That's why I like getting back in the gym and just being like, no, you fucking pussy. You ain't gonna sit around and be some lazy little fuck. That ain't happening on our watch. We got shit to do. Right? I gotta fuck with my own head sometimes. Because all my, I can't rely on my buddies all the time to tell me this shit. So that's why I think like a lot of young guys like Jordan Peterson, because it's like having somebody to hold you accountable, and you listen to that. In a way, it's like holding yourself accountable by not excelling as a dude. That's what I think a lot of people enjoy from that. But I hope that answers your question, my friend. Get out there, be the dude that you were meant to be. We love to see that on this show. We love seeing men excel and becoming dudes. Becoming dudes. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Being a man is one thing, but you gotta have your boyish ways. That's what makes you the perfect dude. So thank you for listening to the Uncle Hack podcast. We will see you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or if you're listening on iTunes, drop a thumbs up, leave a review. And there is an extra episode right now waiting for you on Patreon, patreon.com/DangerCat69. You get an extra episode that is on there right now for you. That's right. Only for you. We don't put it anywhere else. Just Patreon. Video as well for those watching on YouTube that love to watch the show. There's a video episode and an audio episode of the same episode. Patreon.com/DangerCat69. Good night.